Welcome to my channel Limelight Leaks. Please share and subscribe, and hit the bell icon for latest updates. A few weeks ago, I had a crash in my truck. And, as you can guess, the car rolls heavy. But it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of money to get here running again. Nobody expected JJ DeBoss to be hiding something this crazy. After Street Outlaws, his garage showed a secret that shocked everyone. Join us as we show this hidden secret, showing the real magic. Nobody could believe what they saw when a car everyone thought was gone forever suddenly came rolling out of JJ DeBoss's garage, alive, loud, and full of attitude. That car was here, a wild and amazing 1966 Chevy 2 with a history just as wild as the street races it once ruled. JJ had first gotten his hands on here back when he was in his early 20s, when he was still living in a tiny town called Here, Arkansas. Funny enough, the car's name wasn't even planned. One of JJ's loyal drivers, Precious, had made a small spelling mistake while making the car's tag, writing here instead of here. The mistake stuck, and soon the whole crew was calling the car by that name. He wasn't just another race car for JJ. It was family. It held a deep place in his heart for more than 20 years. This wasn't just any machine, either. It was the very first car in JJ's camp that had a full back half chassis, something that was thought of as high-tech back in those days. With here by his side, JJ and his team became unstoppable. The streets were theirs, and the car helped build the fearless name JJ carries to this day. But even the fastest legends aren't safe from bad luck. One weekend, after a full night of racing and running on very little sleep, JJ was driving his GMC Sierra pickup. He had both here and another legendary car, Old Heavy, loaded up in the trailer. The road near Newport, Arkansas, was quiet. JJ, worn out from the long night, fell asleep at the wheel for just a second. That one moment turned everything upside down. The truck slammed into a thick concrete wall at around 55 miles per hour. The hit was so powerful that the straps holding here snapped loose, and the car came crashing forward, slamming into Old Heavy inside the trailer. Both cars ended up flying into a ditch, broken and damaged with parts spread everywhere like a car graveyard. JJ himself was thrown around in the chaos. He broke a hand, cracked a rib, and was left with cuts and bruises all over. It was a scary crash, the kind that could have ended much worse. Yet somehow, he made it out alive. Even while in pain, JJ wasn't thinking about himself. His heart was with his cars. He took the worst of the hit. The front and rear frames were crushed. The quarter panels were twisted like crumpled paper, and both the nose and trunk lid were completely destroyed. It looked like the end for here, a once glorious beast now bent and broken. But in the world of JJ DeBoss, nothing is ever truly over. And for here, the story was far from finished. Any normal car would have been left for scrap after such a terrible crash, written off and forgotten. But here was no ordinary ride. This car had a soul, a story, and a seat that hadn't been changed since the day JJ first bought it all those years ago. It wasn't just a machine to him. It was a memory on wheels. JJ couldn't stand to walk away from it. Even though fixing it would cost between $15,000 and $20,000, money that could have easily built a completely new car, he never thought twice. Because for JJ, here held something no brand new car ever could. History, loyalty, and heart. That's just how JJ is. His cars aren't tools or toys. They're family. They hold the laughter, the struggles, the late night races, and all the years of fighting to stay on top. Letting here disappear after everything they'd been through together wasn't even an option. So the moment JJ stepped out of the hospital, bruised and healing, he was already back at the shop. His wife Trisha and Precious Cooper stood right beside him. The mission was clear. Bring here back to life. They sent the damaged car to David Monday Race Cars, where it was treated like royalty. The whole front and rear frame clips were replaced. The twisted panels were straightened out. New body pieces were added. And slow, piece by piece, here began to take shape again. It was in those quiet days of grinding, welding, and rebuilding that the true magic happened. This wasn't just a repair. It was a rebirth. The here, once broken and bruised, was getting ready to come back louder and bolder than ever. And what about Old Heavy, the other victim in that same crash? It didn't walk away untouched either. The front end took a hit, but that wasn't the end of the road. While JJ was still recovering, he and his team jumped right in, fixing it up in just a week. The truck was shining again, ready for battle. But fate had one more twist in store. During a Monday night test in Memphis, Old Heavy snapped its wheel studs and flipped twice, crushing the roof. Most people would have called it quits right then, but JJ isn't most people. He and his crew pulled out the dents, stretched the roof back into place, and even though it didn't look perfect, they still raced it that same Saturday night. That's the kind of grit JJ is made of. In his world, a car is never truly gone unless he gives up on it. And giving up has never been his style. But to really feel why here matters so much and why JJ fights so hard for every car in his garage, you'd have to rewind time way before the cameras and fame back to where it all began. That's where the real story lives. How JJ DeBoss started. JJ DeBoss, whose real name is Jonathan Day, came from the quiet little town of Joyner, Arkansas, a place so small it barely had more than 700 people living in it. His family worked with their hands, making a living by fixing roofs, and JJ grew up doing the same. For the first 20 years of his life, he was up on rooftops, following in the footsteps of those before him. But while he was climbing ladders and hammering shingles, his heart was chasing something else entirely, which were cars. Every bit of money JJ made from roofing jobs went straight into his true passion. He had a love for old cars and would spend hours working on them. He was always buying, fixing, trading, never standing still. This wasn't just a fun pastime for him. Even as a boy, his love for cars ran deep. By the age of 10, JJ was already behind the wheel, racing through the dirt roads of Mississippi County like he belonged there. He wasn't just playing, he was learning. And he was learning fast. Those early years shaped the way JJ would rise in the world of street racing. He didn't grow up with fancy race cars or big budgets. He often didn't even have the parts he needed to run at official racetracks, where rules were strict and surfaces were smooth. So, he made the streets his classroom. With no choice but to get clever, he learned how to win using brains, timing, and street sense instead of just horsepower. This need to be clever gave JJ his edge. One of his most talked about moves came from those early races. Back then, races often started with a simple hand drop. Most racers waited for the third count, but not JJ. He would take off at 2, catching everyone by surprise and snatching the lead before they even moved. It wasn't about breaking rules. It was about thinking quicker than the rest, making the most out of what he had. That kind of bold move made him a legend in Memphis, where people learned quickly that JJ wasn't someone you could easily outsmart. But there's more to his story than just fast cars and flashy wins. JJ didn't find racing. He inherited it. The thrill of the race, the smell of burning rubber, and the sound of roaring engines were passed down to him from his uncles and grandfathers. Racing was in his blood. It was part of his family's identity. That's why it meant so much more to him. He wasn't just racing for the win. He was racing to honor the ones who came before him. This deep connection to family, hard work, and sharp thinking is what makes JJ so special in the world of street racing. He built his life on grit and heart. He turned struggle into strength and never forgot where he came from. And that's why to this day, people don't just respect JJ for how fast he is. They respect him for the legacy he carries every time he hits the street. But that was never a sure way to have smoothness because he had some difficulties along the line. Let's find out what these difficulties were. Beating the hard times. Just like a race can throw a sudden twist, life did the same to JJ DeBoss. He faced something far more difficult than any road he'd ever raced on. There was a time in his life when his choices led him down a path he never planned for. The mistakes he made caught up with him, and he ended up serving 8 years and 1 month in federal prison. It was a long, painful stretch, one of the hardest seasons he'd ever faced. But instead of letting it crush him, he used that time to grow. Those years behind bars changed how he saw the world. They taught him lessons he never would have learned anywhere else. He came out of that dark place with a new respect for life and the people in it. It opened his eyes to the real value of freedom, and it lit a fire in him. He wasn't going to waste another minute. That time away didn't take the fight out of him. It made him tougher, sharper, and more focused than ever before. When JJ finally came home, he didn't sit around feeling sorry for himself. He knew exactly where to turn back to what had always given him purpose. He jumped right back into fixing up old cars, buying them, rebuilding them, and putting them back on the market. It wasn't just something to keep him busy. It was serious, purposeful work. And slowly, piece by piece, that effort started building the future he wanted. Every car he sold helped him put money toward his biggest love, racing. To JJ, racing isn't just a thrill. It's the heartbeat of his life. He's the kind of person who would rather race than eat when he's hungry. That says everything about how deep this love goes. After spending years unable to touch a gas pedal or feel the rush of the streets, he came back more dedicated than ever. That hunger, that fire, it shaped the way he does everything now. He also became more careful, more calculated. His time away taught him to keep his cards close. He doesn't like to share his tricks or talk too much about how he wins. He believes in showing his skills where it matters, on the street, not in conversation. It's a smart, quiet way of working that adds to the mystery around him. People don't always know what JJ's planning, but when he shows up, they know to be ready. That deep respect for life and the drive to do what he loves came from hitting rock bottom and climbing all the way back up. It's why he never gives up on a car, never backs down from a challenge, and always races like everything's on the line. Because for JJ, every win is more than a trophy. It's a reminder of how far he's come and how hard he fought to be where he is now. Speaking of trophies, let's see how JJ created a whole street legacy. Street dreams made in steel and grit, with a fresh mindset and unstoppable energy. JJ DeBoss turned his love for racing into something far greater than just a hobby. He built a legacy that now lives and breathes through his entire family. He became a legend on the streets, creating his own racing world with a lineup of amazing cars, each with its own backstory and unique personality. His collection includes some heavy hitters like Zip Tie, Old Heavy, Hummingbird, the Malibu, and of course, the one and only here. And knowing JJ, there's always another wild machine just around the corner. But JJ's success didn't happen alone. Racing became a family tradition, and everyone close to him played a part. His wife, Trisha, wasn't just cheering from the sidelines. She took the wheel herself, driving power-packed rides like Zip Tie, Old Heavy, and even here. His cousin, Precious Cooper, known as one of the toughest drivers out there, ruled the roads in the Malibu. His son, Doughboy, and his younger sister, Chelsea, who drove a 1966 Chevelle lovingly nicknamed Tomcat, or Bobcat, as JJ called it, were also deep in the action. They weren't just family. They were a racing team that moved like one heart, one engine. JJ knew how to play the game smarter than most. When rival drivers got too nervous to face him straight on, he had a clever trick up his sleeve. He'd let Trisha or Precious take the driver's seat, betting big that the guys wouldn't expect a woman to leave them in the dust. And it worked over and over. It wasn't just a surprise tactic. It was a show of real skill. JJ had trained his crew well. They weren't just drivers. They were sharp, fast, and fearless. This tight-knit bond was the real fuel behind the Memphis crew strength. They shared everything, both knowledge, experience, struggles, and victories. They had each other's backs through it all. And that closeness made them more than just racers. They were a family built for the streets. JJ didn't just race. He changed the game entirely. Years ago, he created Spin City, his own race scene right in Memphis. It became a hotspot where races came alive, and JJ became a name that carried weight. He knew every corner, every curve, and could make a car fly down streets that most wouldn't dare try. That deep understanding of the roads and his ability to make things happen anywhere showed just how sharp and powerful his presence was. And while Here's Comeback was one for the books, another car in JJ's collection had a wild journey of its own. Zip Tie, a trusted old Chevy Nova, had once raced in Las Vegas in hopes of winning $2,000, but things didn't go as planned. In a shocking twist, the car was totaled during a race. JJ was left with a wreck, but instead of giving up, he did something only JJ would do. He bought his old Chevy back and promised to rebuild it. It became a massive project. And like always, he brought his whole family in to help. They put their hands and hearts into it, working side by side to bring Zip Tie back to life. The car had been badly hurt, but they didn't stop until it was safe and ready to hit the road again. It even got some powerful upgrades at Larry Jeffers race cars, aiming for a spot on America's top 20 list. At one point, the engine and powertrain from Zip Tie were even used inside Hummingbird, proving how resourceful JJ and his team are. They never let anything go to waste, always finding a way to keep their cars and their dream moving forward. Through every twist and turn, JJ's story keeps racing on, powered by grit, family, and a love for the streets that never fades. Now, if you've ever wondered where all the magic behind those unbelievable comebacks happens, the answer leads straight to a special place. So, stay tuned to know what it's all about. JJ DeBoss's Garage. It's not just a building filled with tools and engines. It's the beating heart of his entire racing world where dreams are built, rebuilt, and sometimes completely reborn. That space, though private and rarely shown in full detail, is a real treasure chest for any fan who knows what goes on behind closed doors. It's in this hidden workshop that JJ keeps his most powerful and surprising rides. Some fans call them his secret weapons. The place is filled with whispers of mystery. Sometimes people call it Sketchy's Garage, a nickname that adds to the thrill. JJ doesn't just fix cars there. He transforms them. It's where damaged cars like Zip Tie and Here went after crashing hard, disappearing from public view while they were carefully repaired and brought back to life. These weren't quick patch-ups. JJ and his crew spent long, quiet hours making sure every part was stronger than before, turning heartbreak into high performance. That garage is where things really heat up. JJ and his family work day and night, pushing themselves to bring out the very best in every single machine. They're not just fixing, they're improving, strategizing, and preparing for whatever comes next on the street. No cameras, no distractions, just pure focus and passion. Even though he has a shop open to the public in Millington, Tennessee, right in the middle of a NASCAR track, what happens there is nothing compared to the real action that takes place back home in the garage. That's where the legends like Old Heavy, the Hummingbird, the Malibu, Zip Tie, and Here are housed. Each one takes up its own space, not just because of their size, but because of the story and care behind them. JJ's Garage is more than just storage. It's a place where cars are brought back from the edge, stronger and faster than before. It's where the family bonds over sweat and engine oil, turning broken dreams into fresh victories. That garage holds the edge that keeps JJ and his team ahead of the game. It's not just about speed. It's about heart, patience, and the determination to never give up, no matter how tough the road gets. A long-lasting legacy. JJ DeBoss didn't come from wealth or an easy life, but through hard work and pure determination. He built something truly powerful. Not just a street racing crew, but a name that will never be forgotten. People all across the country know him as the quickest man on the road and one of the boldest risk-takers in the game. He's not just someone who races. He's someone who rewrote the rules, earning deep respect in the tough world of Memphis street racing. Every move he makes, every race he leads carries the weight of experience and heart. Over the years, JJ became a name feared and admired at the same time, known for his fearless spirit and clever racing tactics. But JJ's talent goes far beyond just hitting the gas. He's the man behind some of the biggest racing events like Street Outlaws, fastest in America, where teams from all over the country race for a jaw-dropping $100,000 prize, the highest reward ever offered in street racing. JJ doesn't just show up, he's the one who puts the whole thing together. He handpicks racers from coast to battle it out in Memphis, proving just how much weight his name carries in the racing world. His choices shape the entire competition, and racers feel honored just to be invited by him. His races aren't just fast, they're unforgettable. JJ's had intense matchups with some of the top racers out there, like Birdman from Texas, Kai Kelly from New Orleans, and Chucky Davis from Detroit. These head-to-head battles are packed with adrenaline and passion. They aren't just about who finishes first. They're about pride, skill, and raw heart. Each time JJ faces off with these top challengers, it's like watching lightning strike. The rivalry pushes everyone involved to go harder, drive faster, and never give an inch. What makes JJ truly stand out is the way he honors the past. He believes in the old ways of racing, the kind where it's just you, your car, and the street. He avoids all the new gadgets. No flashlights, no digital countdowns. For JJ, a race starts when his arms drop. Just like in the early days, he sticks to the rule that if someone jumps a little early, the other racer still has to catch them to win. He doesn't like winning by tricks or small technicalities. He wants it to be all about real talent and guts behind the wheel. That love for true racing, the kind where only skill matters, has earned him huge admiration from those who believe in keeping racing pure. But JJ isn't doing it alone. His family is his foundation. They support one another no matter what. And everything they do as one. It's not just about being on the same team. It's deeper than that. Racing is their way of life, something passed down like a treasure from one generation to the next. That powerful family connection gives JJ's entire operation strength, unity, and a heartbeat that never fades. For JJ, this isn't just a job or a weekend thrill. It's everything. It means more to him than food when he's starving. This is his soul's passion. He's always learning, always reaching for more, and never stopping to rest. And even as he keeps rising, something beautiful is happening. Young kids are starting to notice him. They look up to him. They're excited about racing because of the path JJ has paved. His journey filled with rough roads and major comebacks shows the world that with courage, love for your roots, and a never-quit attitude, you can build something timeless. JJ DeBoss isn't just a racer. He's a living legend, and his story is still burning bright. And even now, JJ shows no signs of slowing down. With fresh blood joining the racing scene and bigger stages opening up, he continues to inspire a new wave of racers who carry his same fearless energy. His influence stretches far beyond Memphis. It's felt in every underground track, every local car meet, and every young dreamer tuning up their first engine. JJ isn't just racing for himself anymore. He's paving the way for the next generation to take over. So, what do you think about JJ DeBoss' legacy? Do you think the here found in his garage will draw his fans closer? Let us know in the comment section. If you want more interesting details about your favorite celebrities, be sure to like, subscribe, and watch the next video shown on your screen. See you there.